The Vanishing of Eli Mercer, a Sierra Verde mystery. If you've ever spent time in the Sierra Verde Mountains, you know they're different, wilder, older. A place where sound seems to travel wrong, and where people have vanished without leaving so much as a torn thread behind. The shot widens to reveal jagged switchbacks, miles of unforgiving high desert, and cliffs that resemble broken glass under the sun. But of all the disappearances across the Verde, one stands out as the most confounding. The story of a man who knew these mountains better than anyone, and yet vanished as if the land swallowed him. A slow zoom on an old wooden sign, Sierra Verde Wilderness. Enter at your own risk. Don't forget to subscribe for more interesting stories. The Case of Eli Mercer. Eli Mercer, 41 years old, lifelong hunter, backcountry medic, ex-wildland firefighter. And according to everyone who knew him, the kind of man you trust with your life in the wilderness. He wasn't a novice. He wasn't careless. He wasn't unprepared. He was the one people called when things went wrong. And in September of 2018, Eli Mercer vanished into the Sierra Verdes, leaving behind a trail so baffling that even search and rescue veterans still talk about it with quiet disbelief. The Sierra Verde Range, an island of mountain in a sea of nothing. The Sierra Verdes sit alone, hundreds of miles of high desert stretching in every direction. They rise suddenly and violently from flat, lifeless plains, like the spine of some ancient creature frozen beneath the earth. Locals claim the range is wrong somehow, charged with strange stories that go back to the earliest settlers. Depending on who you ask, the name Sierra Verde came from a Spanish explorer, driven mad after claiming to hear voices in the valleys, a native people's word meaning mountains of the visions, or simply the strange green-tinted rocks scattered across the cliffs. But the truth is, no one agrees, and no one has a complete history. What everyone does agree on, though, is simple. People who go deep into the Sierra Verdes sometimes don't come back. Eli's last trip. On September 11th, 2018, Eli left for a 4-day bow hunting trip with 2 close friends. Luke Aranos, 39, Ben Carver, 42. All 3 men were seasoned outdoorsmen. They had hunted together for 15 years. Everyone trusted everyone. There were no arguments, no strange behavior, no tension. This wasn't a spontaneous trip. They had planned it for months. They took 2 horses, 1 pack mule, GPS radios, emergency caches Eli had hidden years earlier, enough food for 10 days, backup gear, flare pens, satellite maps. It was not supposed to be dangerous. And yet, what happened next is still unexplained. The 3 men began their ride up Cathedral Basin, a dramatic narrow valley carved between towering red cliffs. Weather was clear, visibility perfect. No one reported anything strange. But around 4 miles up, the mule panicked, stumbling on loose shale, thrashing its pack, and tumbling sideways down a slope. Most of Eli's gear went with it. Sleeping bag, stove, extra clothing, maps, all gone in seconds. Eli shrugged it off. He had been through worse, and he had a solution. If anything goes wrong, Eli told the others, I've got a supply stash up past Verde Lake. I'll grab what I need. Verde Lake was only 6 miles north of their camp. A straight shot along a ridge he knew like the back of his hand. He wasn't worried. Neither were his friends. The first sign of something strange. On September 13th, 2 days after arriving, Eli told the others he was too cold to stay the whole week without his gear. He wanted to make a quick run to his cache near Verde Lake. He estimated he'd be back before nightfall. They all had high-tech GPS walkie radios with coordinate pinging, so even if someone got turned around, The others could locate them. This wasn't risky. This wasn't unusual. Eli left camp at 10:47 a.m. The last time they heard his voice, he sounded normal. But when they pinged his GPS an hour later, his direction made no sense. Instead of heading northwest toward Verde Lake, Eli was heading northeast toward the dry mesa canyons, a direction that led away from the ridge and toward dead-end cliffs. Luke radioed him immediately. "Buddy, you're headed the wrong way. Verde is northwest. You're tracking east." Eli's reply was calm. "Yeah, I realized it. Took a wrong turn. I'll swing back up." They believed him. Why wouldn't they? But Eli never turned. He kept moving east, deeper into the canyons, toward nothing. That afternoon, the sky turned abruptly. In the Sierra Verdes, storms can form in under 30 minutes, but this one hit like a hammer. 50 many winds, temperatures dropping 25 degrees, heavy sleet and snow at elevations above 6,000 feet. Luke and Ben couldn't search. Visibility was zero. The storm trapped them in camp. By dawn, Eli still wasn't back. By noon, they began shouting his name along the ridge. No response. By evening, they climbed as far as they could along the eastern slopes. Nothing. No tracks. No movement. No sign he'd ever passed through. On September 15th at 9:02 p.m., they made the call. The search begins. 2 sheriff's departments launched simultaneous searches. Verde County from the west and Arco County from the east. The search team included 74 personnel, 23 canine units, 3 helicopters, thermal drones, and a dedicated mountain rescue team. They covered every trail, every drainage, every canyon shelf. And here is where the story begins to veer into the surreal. The first discovery. On September 17th, 2 days into the search, a canine team found something. Eli's boots, neatly placed, side by side, facing the same direction, next to a small burned-out fire ring, next to a water bladder, next to partially melted nylon straps from the waist belt of his pack. The dogs circled the area but found no other scent trail leading away. Even more disturbing, Luke and Ben had searched that exact area the day before. Nothing had been there. No boots, no fire pit, no tracks. It appeared as if the items had been placed there after the area had already been searched. And one more thing. That location was 6 miles east of Eli's last confirmed GPS position, in the opposite direction of his promised route. Why would an expert outdoorsman walk 6 miles the wrong way? Uphill, in a storm, away from safety? Why would he remove his boots in freezing weather? Why were the boots placed so cleanly, so deliberately? And why weren't they there during the previous day's search? No one had an answer. If you have thoughts or theories, leave them below. And as always, stay safe out there.